Welcome back to Food for Thought. I'm Jennifer Ream.
And I'm Christine Landel.
And today we want to dive into the topic of navigating current energies and how we're doing that, what's keeping us grounded. I mean, you would have to be on a completely different planet right now to not know that everything seems like a lot, and everybody around is constantly talking about just how dense and thick and heavy a lot of energies are right now. And so, and we would agree, it has been like that for some years now, and I don't think it's slowing down. I think it's actually speeding up a little bit, and I think it will continue to speed up for a while. And so we need to all kind of have the right tools in place to bring us back to that kind of centered space within us. So
so I think, we talk about this all the time and about what we're doing personally to get through this time. And I feel like I'm doing more now than ever to get through this time, just to stay harmonious in my own energy. And last week for me was a super emotional week. I was definitely purging some things that have been within me for a long time. And sometimes when that's happening, things show up for us in really big ways to give us opportunities to feel certain emotions and to let go of emotions. And so I would say, if when it's raining, it's pouring, and that's how last week was. And on a regular basis, I was kind of going down to my knees and praying and deep breathing and 2 times a day meditations. And so, I think it's just really, really important to recognize that there's no wrong way to get through this right now, except for letting the external world control us. And I think that is what a lot of times we get caught up in, is what's happening around us and that we don't have any control. And so it's more about really, really just going inward right now and reflecting on what it is for you that's supposed to be moving, what you're supposed to be doing to move through this. And it's going to be different for everyone, is what you're going through and how it's coming up for you, and the old shit that's coming up for you. I feel like even was coming up in dreams, and people coming up in my dreams. And so it's just like, I would say it's very equivalent to a roller coaster ride right now. And reason why we were even more inspired to start this now is that we're on a regular basis holding space for people and hearing from people who are just all going through this too. So it's you do whatever it takes right now, and you take whatever tool it takes to get you through the moments in peace. And journaling has been a really big part of it for me, and really just tuning into what I need to do and what I need to do for my family and for those around me, and letting that guide me in every way. And I think the biggest piece of that is setting the intention every day to be present and to really just think through what my next step is in every day.
Yeah, and I do think that part of what we have to remind ourselves is that the louder the outer world gets, the more we need to come inward for stillness and peace, because we're not going to get it out there. It's not going to be an outward thing. It's going to be an inward thing. And it's going to keep getting louder and louder. And for example, I think just the amount of, heavy and sadness from the storm the past week. So we had this hurricane, depending on when you're watching this, that was devastating and is devastating. And it becomes so overwhelming, and you can get so emotionally attached to wanting to help and feeling the empathy for these people who are going life and death situation. And that we're bombarded with that kind of trauma and energy all the time. It's like one thing after another. And I think the most important thing is to understand that we need to have an eagle's perch with that. We need to have a bird's eye view. We can be compassionate, we can donate, we can do all that we can do, but the best way we can serve is not by being angry or mad or any of the things. It's to come back to that light within you, that love within you, and that is what ripples out. That ripples out into our community. It ripples out into other people because we're energy and we're all connected. And so it's always that reminder of how can I best help right now. Me being angry or me being staying in that place of sadness or depression is not helping. It's not helping humanity. What helps humanity is me coming back to that place of peace and radiating and doing what I need to do in my world around me, my little small corner of the world, from a place of peace and calm and love. And love is the most amazing vibration of not in love and like the, the relationship, that kind of love. I'm talking about that deep sense of loving yourself and that deep sense of peace that comes from that feeling of true love and compassion. That space is where we can best serve. We can best serve the world and best serve in our little corner of the world, whether that's just with your family, or if that's, if you're feeling called to go out and be in the trenches of something and help. Coming from that place of love is how we can best serve.
Yeah,
So.
and I do think, though, it's important to feel all of those things and feel the feelings and feel the frustration with our government and feel the frustration with our people who are...
Yeah, we're not talking about emotionally bypassing situations,
right?
For sure. So
yeah.
That's very important. That's a very good point.
Yeah, like
you have to feel it, and then you need to come back to your place of stillness.
We feel that. So if you saw a lot of our DMs with some friends and our text messages with some friends, like we're not going to pretend
with each
like
other.
That's not a thing. It's a thing. We are incredibly frustrated with our system and our a lot of the systems that have been put in place that are no longer functioning properly and no longer for the people. And so, I think that part is really, really important to...
It's fuel.
Yeah.
It's definitely fuel.
But don't stay. I think it's important for people to know what's going on, and so that's why we talk a lot about it with our certain people who do know what's going on, and it's fun to riff on that with each other and be like, can you believe this is now going on, and this and so yeah, in the moment, like you get fired up and you get mad, but then it also, like Jen said, it fuels us to. It creates our passion, just like the food industry. Like I think we all know now the food industry has created a pretty horrible ripple effect of the ultra processed foods and what they've done to our country in the last 50 years. And so that led us down the road to Vibe Well and creating Vibe Well and eating organic foods and reading labels and knowing what's in there and not eating certain things. And so, like, once you uncover, you pull the blanket off of it and you uncover what's underneath of it, you can't not see it. And it is frustrating, and it does give you all of the feelings. But I do also believe that we're here to feel those, and then you move on from them. You alchemize them with something that is going to be neutralize it, and something that's going to fuel your passions, and also, again, wonder why it's happening for you. So there's always a why it's happening for you in any given situation. And so I think that piece is really, really important to unpack, and what that is for you and why it's coming up, and maybe why it's making you feel the way that you're feeling. And then do a little bit of soul work with that. And then how can you change this, and how can you serve in a way that's going to be positive and going to be uplifting and going to be peaceful? And so there's a line between that, for sure. Like, we're not going to be like all love and light all the time, because there are things happening that shouldn't be happening. And so how can we create change and create new earth?
Well, it's transformational energy. And that's where what I was hearing when you were saying that, was like, that's such important. We're moving into creating systems because those things don't work, and because they fueled us to wake up to all of these things that no longer work, because we're becoming more conscious, and we want more conscious companies. We want more conscious people serving our in our governments. We want more conscious people creating these products. So it's fuel for us to evolve. And I think that's such a very important point. And part of us evolving is processing the emotions that come with that. That is just part of being human. And sometimes I forget that it's like such a natural thing now for me to process emotions pretty easily because I've been learning to do that for so long. And I think that's a whole nother topic that we should talk about, is how we do that, and maybe it'll be another one. But I think just coming back to understanding that, for me, like the biggest one that stands out when I was talking about being on your eagle's perch and moving forward is that there's this major stuff happening in other parts of our world, and you can see how it has emotionally affected people here when you see like what people share, and um, it causes more division and more anger. And how much can I help from my corner of the world by being angry and by sitting in that and festering that and taking that out on the people around me? That is the opposite of what is going to help the situation over there. Because we are all energy and connected, the best thing I can do is get myself to work through that, release it, breathe through that anger, and come back to that place of stillness within. And that is the whole process of healing ourselves and best serving humanity from a place of love.
Yeah.
So I think that's such a great like full circle of how we work through things.
Yeah, and I think that right now, being super conscious of who we're around and what we're doing, and the energies that you're allowing into your own space are super important. And so your relationships and boundaries could be a whole other topic we can riff on, but boundaries is a tool right now that we use a lot. And so when you're trying to figure out what you want to do, that you're making a decision in any given day, is it a hell yes? Is it a hell no? Is it a ooh, that person is like brings me down, not very uplifting, super negative, whatever? Like that's kind of how you make your decisions right now. And even like boundaries with social media, because it is heavy right now. There is a lot going on in our world that we have no control over to a certain extent. And so prayers, of course, and donating to organizations that are boots on the ground helping. And but like we were talking about, I found myself just like really being heavily affected with the sadness, which of course we all have empathy, but it's like you can't also go down that road of because that energy will then attract more in your day-to-day life. And so you have to know when you need to release it. You have to know when to move forward. And so boundaries with who you're around and what you're doing, and how can I do something that will lift me up and bring me joy. And sometimes it's as simple as a really good book and getting lost in a book, or it's as simple as a good podcast or a Hallmark movie, or
going for a walk,
nature.
My favorite thing.
Yeah.
My favorite thing.
Breathing. I feel like pausing right now is huge for me. And so the gold to me is in the pause right now. It brings me back to the present moment to really just refocus on what a priority is for me. And the priority is being present and finding some peace and letting my intuition guide me. And so when you do that, you stay in alignment, and you stay in alignment with how you want your day to flow. And so it's just really important right now that the boundaries are a really big tool that you're using.
Yeah, and I think you're gonna hear, no matter what topic we talk about, we're always gonna come back to the reminder of stillness, and because it's not utilized and it's not taught, and it's something we have to learn and we have to practice. And so I think no matter what we're discussing, whatever topic we come on, we're always gonna be like, that is our place, like that is our space. And we definitely both have routines around it now and habits that we've created. And I think that'll be lots of discussion that we can have moving forward about, getting into the nitty gritty of all that. But I think today it's just hitting on the fact that we all recognize, and we have bringing awareness to the fact that there's a lot going on, but we all have self-responsibility with what we are bringing and how we're showing up. And that is doing the work of finding that inner peace and that inner calm. And some days it's harder than others. And we totally understand and feel that with you. And hopefully in the conversations that we have moving forward, we can continue to offer all these different tools that we use, because there's so many. And I think that in people sharing maybe in the comments below what they're doing and what's helping them, and or what's helping you, I think that is helpful to other people to see that and to read that, and just to be talking about it, and also just to remind each other, like, hey, we're all going through it, we're in this together, this is humanity, uniting and reminding each other that we can do it, we can get through this, and we're here for it. We're not here by accident. We are here for this moment in time because we chose to, and it's a gift in a lot of ways. And there's so much we can talk about that, which is going to be fun, I think, to to go down all these little roads of why we're here.
Well, I think it's really important to know too that as long as we're here in Earth School, we came here to learn and evolve. And so all of these things are happening for us. We did choose to be here during this time. And so keep that perspective in mind. Keep a light heart about just the fact that we chose this and we came here to do this work, and we came here to serve and lift each other up and be there for each other, and like Jen said, unification and unifying all of that right now is so key, and especially in a world of the divisiveness is how they can control us. And right now it's about unifying coming together and just holding space for each other.
So if we can leave you with one thing today, it would be just to shut this off and sit in stillness with yourself for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And all that is just focusing on your breath, and just sitting and focusing on your breath, and stay there for as long as you feel like you can, and then move on with your day. So that's food for thought.
All right.
For
We'll see
today.
you next time.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.